Hey guys, as some of you already know that I just got my bike. It's a Kawasaki Z250. My experience on getting a bike and also my license as I was growing up, totally I didn't have any prior experience of riding a bike. So I guess midlife crisis already hit as I'm 34 this year. So I just thought of maybe perhaps I'll just try to get a bike instead of because of the convenience as well. So I called my friend as well to actually join me to the journey into actually a motorcycle world. So it actually makes the process even more fun. So just to share a bit, for those of you that don't know um, the motorcycle license in Malaysia, we used to have B2, B1, and also B. So the difference is actually the more on the bike CC. So if you actually see for Malaysia, most of the smaller bikes is usually less than 125 to 150. So that is actually B2 license. So in Malaysia, they actually took out the B1 license already. So it's only left with B2, which is 250cc below, and also the B full. B full is actually 500cc and above. So what I got is actually 250, which is the maximum for B2. So but one shot when I actually took the license, might as well I take it for B full lah. So that I don't really have to take it again if once I want to upgrade in the future. So basically, I was actually researching on the how much was the rate for the general rate in KL and PJ, and so far when I found out, most of them is actually around in the 1,000 range, 1,000 to 1,400 for B full. So I was actually quite shocked because actually you can take a B full one shot, so you don't really have to go for the courses twice. But so far I actually went to this place called a unisex driving school, which is currently it's in Sri Petaling. Yeah, they actually have an office in Sri Petaling, but basically the lessons are not in Sri Petaling, it's actually in Nilai. So what they actually can do, if you don't have your own transportation, you actually can go to Sri Petaling branch in the morning, and then they will fetch you over to Nilai for your lessons. Okay, so basically how it actually works is you have to go for a 6-hour cursus listening to a theory lesson. So when I first went for the cursus also was like it was quite dreadful for me because it was 6 hours of full on listening, and I think everyone there was actually younger than me and my friend because we were the only two that had a driving license. So it was actually quite funny also. So yeah, it was quite an experience for us. We went there, and then we drove early in the morning around like I think 7 plus, which we actually had to reach around 8:30 at the location, and then we actually have to register, and after that we were in third class to listen to the 6 hours. So after the 6 hours, then a week later we only can register to take the exam, the computer exam. So the computer exam is actually a 50 questions. So when I first did my exam, the test, I did it in English, and it was actually pretty tricky, even though I already did a pre-test which they actually gave in the pre-test. Because as when I signed up, what they actually gave you is free 5 pre-tests which you can do online on your own in your home, and also the booklet, a booklet which you actually can read out. So I didn't read the book actually, so I just did a pre-test, and then so far when I did the pre-test, because it's actually quite similar to our driving license, so actually it's just a bit more motor-centric questions. So I just did the the pre-test, and then I passed with flying colors for like 3 or 4 times. So I felt that I didn't have to study much. But after when I actually took the English version on the exam day itself, I failed. I failed, and then I failed by 1 mark. So and then I was actually quite surprised. So after I failed and I wanted to resit, they actually told me that I couldn't do it on the same day, so I was wasting my time. But so happened the exam actually we can take it in Cheras. Cheras, they actually have this place called Relax Complex, so we didn't really have to go back to Nilai for the exam. So that one at least is okay. So when I registered and the receipt, I can only do it the next day. So I went back the next day again, and my friend, which passed on the same day itself, actually told me to maybe perhaps take it in PM, because he said it was easier. Because somehow or rather, I'm not sure whether it's language, but because I'm actually a native English speaker, but somehow or rather the English for the English questions, I felt that it was really tricky. Like some of the multi questions was A and B seems to be like really close to each other, and then it seems like it was pretty confusing for me. So the next day I did it in PM, and then I only had 1 mistake. So I advise for you guys that are thinking of getting your license, please do it in PM. But of course, this is just subject to my own thoughts only. So on the same day that I failed, I actually took I went to the nearest bike shop, because I actually was already surveying for the Kawasaki 250 for quite some time. For at least a couple of weeks, I noticed that because I wanted to get I was actually comparing to get a Ninja or this Z250, but the Z250 was a bit more upright, because it's more of like kind of like a touring style, touring bike style. If you're not familiar with the bike's riding style, maybe I can perhaps share with you in another video. But just comparing these two, Ninja and Z250, Z250 is more in an upright position, so it's more comfortable for a daily ride. And as compared to a Ninja is actually more for like a sports bike. So a sports bike is actually more leaning towards, so if you're riding it for long distance or like daily, I guess you may have back issues. Yeah, but I'm just a new rider, so I'm not too sure, but maybe perhaps learning with a more like a touring style bike is easier. But what made my decision to have the Z250 is because when I was surveying for the bike, Ninja seems to be, the condition of the Ninjas seems to be like very bad. Maybe like most of them actually, because it's a sports bike, so maybe most of the users actually use it to its maximum potential. So it felt like the conditions were pretty bad for 2013 and 2014 model, because I was looking around the price range of 7,000. So yeah, so it's about, so in the end when I went and looked for it, so I actually managed to find a 2014 model, which is my Z250, and the condition was actually pretty good. So that's why I considered and took on the Z250 instead. Yeah, so after completing the exam, actually had to wait for my L license to come. Then after my L license, and I can straight away sit and ride already. So this is the part that I'm actually quite amazed in terms of in Malaysia, that we didn't need to have a prior experience or prior education for riding in Malaysia. So yeah, it's actually quite surprising that it seems pretty dangerous for me that because assuming that last time we didn't have YouTube, But now at least we have YouTube, and then we can actually learn from our friends on YouTube. But you actually can, after you get your theory license, you actually can straight away ride outside with a L license without any knowledge whatsoever. But yeah, I will be riding safe. So for those of you actually considering taking it, please ride safe as well, and also consider learning more on YouTube. And because what I'll be doing is I'll be riding in my taman. So as you can see here from my background, I'm actually walking in my taman and sharing with you guys as well. So I'll see you guys really soon in my next videos, whereby once what I'll be doing is I'll be riding in my taman for some time till I get better, till my balancing and everything gets much better. Oh, I also paid for the P already, but I'll only be taking it after I get much better. Then I straight away can take the, I think it's 9 hours of P, 9 hours of pre-trial P, and then to the actual test. Yeah, so yeah, that's it for me today. I'll be doing some actually rode for the first time last 2 days, so I'll be riding again. I'll be practicing in the coming maybe tonight. So I'll be sharing with you my progress, and perhaps you can see how you would like to take your motorbike license as well. Thanks guys, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Thank you.